I want to welcome everybody. This is Second Life and Lunch. Today we have a guided tour of Virtual Ability Island. The Kirkwood Second Life group meets about once a week to explore the educational possibilities of the virtual world of Second Life. Second Life is a 3D virtual world created mostly by its residents. So everything you see, the buildings, even the landscape has to be molded. The clothing, all of the objects were created by someone. A lot like the web. If you go to a website, somebody had to create that. If you're watching today's presentation on the big screen, it's from the point of view of my avatar, which is Kid Hampshire writer. So if you get a little vertigo, let me know. I'm moving around too quickly. I'll introduce you to our tour guide in a moment, but first I think it would be helpful if we go around the room and introduce ourselves. So all you gotta do is say who you are, what you do here at Kirkwood, and what your experience has been with Second Life. And I'll start. I'm Kid Hampshire, and I'm a graphic designer here in the marketing services department. And I've been in Second Life for about 3.5 years, and helping distance learning get a few things going and helping facilitate Second Life and Lunch. So let's just start with the back.
I'm Clay Fairbrother. I'm the Rehabilitation Services Director here at Kirkwood. I work with Learning Services, and my experience with Second Life is zero.
My name is Xiaomei Gu. I'm a fairly new librarian here. I've known the concept of Second Life for a long while, but I just started actually seeing this since last semester. I don't have a lot of time spending on this, so I'm taking this second lunch thing as an opportunity to take a look.
I'm John Hughes. I'm a vocational rehabilitation counselor here at Kirkwood College, and I have about 4 minutes experience with Second Life.
I'm Lisa Hannon. I'm an office assistant in the student development area where we have counselors for the students and career services for the community. Like Xiaomei, I've known about Second Life for a long time, but never really gotten to play around in here. So and my experience too is limited to every Friday. That's about all the time I get to spend in it, but it's pretty cool.
Great.
My name is Jim Chuck. I teach electronics, and I've been using Second Life for about 3 years.
I'm Jane Wumkees in Learning Services, and I'm an ADA case manager. I do the assistive tech here for Kirkwood. I teach some classes, just kind of a bunch of stuff. And I think my only exposure with Second Life was going to a presentation like this probably 3 years ago.
Health Info Island?
It might have been. It was a long time.
Yeah, I think it was
when we were over in Lynn
Yeah.
Hall.
I think that might have been the one we were at.
You have good memory.
In Second Life I do.
I'm Alan Paturka. I'm an instructional designer and department coordinator for the distance learning department here at Kirkwood. I've been in Second Life for a number of years now.
My name is Joel Streep. I work with Access to Independence, helping persons with disabilities, and my only exposure to Second Life has been for the past 4 Fridays and on weekends, I guess.
My name is Scott Gill. I'm a social science instructor here at Kirkwood Community College, and I work with Joel at Access to Independence, and this is my first semester in the Second Life.
Those guys are diving right in. They want to build already. Well, today our tour guide is Alex Krueger. Alice was a technical writer and editor for a national educational research firm based in New Hampshire. Her avatar's name is Gentle Heron, and you can see it hovering above her avatar. She worked from her home for the Denver office as she has multiple sclerosis, and now she's on SSDI. Alice has a connection to Cedar Rapids. She began her teaching career in the Amana Colonies, where she was the entire high school science department. She has both attended and given teacher workshops at Kirkwood on a variety of topics, including playing the recorder and teaching about death and dying. In Second Life, Alice is a co-founder of the Virtual Ability Community, a group that supports people with disabilities. She's also president of the board of Virtual Ability Incorporated, a Colorado nonprofit that supports Virtual Ability's work in Second Life. Virtual Ability Incorporated is a group of people who are concerned with disability support. Virtual Ability Island is a location in Second Life that features an orientation center accessible to people with chronic illness or disabilities. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to Alice Krueger.
Hi,
Well,
Alice.
thank you. It's really gratifying to hear that you have so many rehab and accessibility people in the audience today. This is excellent. Well, I'd like to introduce one of my closest virtual ability colleagues. Her name in Second Life is Emmy Capolini, and she's standing here. Kid, if you can show Emmy. Emmy has had a critical role in the history of our community. She is a full-time plus volunteer for our community. She is the Vice President of Development for our corporation. And within the community, she has many, many roles, but the one that I want her to speak from today is that she was the design and build team leader for the Virtual Ability Island, also for Health Info Island and other of our islands. But the reason I've invited her here to talk today is because of her expertise in designing and building Virtual Ability Island. So just a little bit more history than Kit gave you before we actually get on the tour. In real life, Virtual Ability Inc. is a 501c3. We are chartered in Colorado, and we are a little bit unusual in our business model in that although we gratefully accept donations as a 501c3, the great majority of our funding comes from contract work that we do. We employ people with disabilities, we train them to do this work, and then we encourage them to do the work in virtual reality. So that's one of the models that we have for developing the community. In Second Life, Virtual Ability is a community of over 500 people. It's a community of support for people with any kind of disability. So our members include people with physical disabilities, mental disabilities, emotional disabilities, and sensory disabilities. And our mission is to help all of us be successful in virtual worlds. There are 4 things I think it's important for you to know that Virtual Ability does for educators, and we've been doing this for a number of years now. One thing is that we provide a safe place for all students, disabled and non-disabled, to enter Second Life and learn basic Second Life skills. We do this for a number of institutions. We also provide special support for your special needs students and for their instructors. So for instance, we had a call from Capella University recently. They have 2 blind students in their programming course that is being conducted in Second Life, and before the course even started, they hooked us up with the instructor so that we could help that instructor learn what accommodations were needed for those students, and then we also worked with the students. The third thing that we do for educators is we provide assistance in designing and setting up both your physical and your instructional facilities so that they are accessible. We have a deep interest in accessibility of education in virtual worlds, and we believe strongly in universal design, and Emmy will talk about that and show you how that's implemented. And then the 4th thing that we do, and I'm not sure Kit even knows this, is that we actually participate in class sessions when it's appropriate. So for instance, we have a number of nursing instructors who use the members in our community as focus groups so that their nursing students can learn about, for instance, what it's like for a person with a disability to be in a clinic setting and what their additional needs might be. We've worked with art instructors in terms of what is art for people with disabilities, what does that entail? We've worked with graduate classes in education, we've worked with students who are social work students, just all kinds of different classes. So are there any basic questions before we begin the tour?
Based on that last thing, I think we're gonna have to talk later.
Well, we're happy to talk with you. What we're going to do is we're going to show you today a couple of places on Virtual Ability Island The first is the place where new avatars that come into Second Life through our website instead of through secondlife.com, when they come in through virtualability.org, this is where they land to begin their orientation. So we want to show you that, and then the second place we want to show you is our accessible auditorium. Both of these were designed by Emmy and her team, and they used two principles that I'm sure you're probably familiar with, andragogy and universal design. Andragogy being the adult learning analog of pedagogy, and universal design being the philosophy that if things are designed appropriately for people with disabilities, they also work extremely well for everyone else. And I'm going to post into local chat, and I can also send this to you in an email kit. This is a URL of a article that Virtual Ability members have written. It's in the Journal of Virtual Worlds Research, and it is our thoughts on universal design for virtual worlds, because it isn't exactly the same as universal design in the world around you. So you have the landmark to the orientation center. I'm also going to put the slurl into, oh, thank you, Scott, I appreciate that. I'm also going to put the slurl into local chat. If you land at your landmark, or if you take the slurl and go to this tour site, please take a step away from where you land so we don't all stack up in a vertical line over each other's heads. So Emmy has gone on ahead, so if you all want to go, I will take up the rear of this. And be sure to move from where you land. Okay. XSKI, do you know how to go to where we're headed?
No.
Overdue, do you know how to go?
No.
I'll bring you.
Okay. Okay. I think Kit can bring you. And the other thing you could do is, I have just posted something in green into local chat. You can click on that and teleport. Oh, there goes SKI. And the last one here is overdue. Okay. And here I come. Hope I don't land on anybody. I do have high heels on, so watch out for your heads.
Yeah, SKI needs to take a step back.
Uh-oh, I'm gonna land on SKI? All right.
There, no, overdue one.
All right, here we are. Great.
Hi everyone, I'm Emmy.
Hi.
Feel free to stop me if you have questions while I'm talking. I always get easier to ask when you think of the question than try to remember it later. Anyway, we've landed at the beginning of the orientation path, and if Kip can show the graphic that's on the ground there, we put that to start with so that anyone that lands can see that and immediately learn how to move their avatar. So the way that we set things up with, does everyone know what universal design is? Did you understand that? How it's used in the real world?
They're shaking their heads.
No.
And that would be no. Universal design, one example is like a curb cut in a sidewalk at the corner. Is everyone familiar with that?
Sure.
What that is that it was made originally for people with wheelchairs to get up and down the curbs easily. But what they found out afterwards is that it works for so many people. If you have a stroller, if you have rolling luggage, if you have any kind of wheel, bicycle, that's going to get you, up on the sidewalk very easily. So that's an example of a universal design where it works for most people. So it's not just for people with disabilities, but it's for everyone to use and take advantage of. So that's how we've designed this island. We didn't want to make it, although we were creating it for people with disabilities, we didn't want it to look like it was made for people with disabilities. We wanted to show an example of how a place for people with disabilities can be a beautiful, wonderful place and not have handicap signs or signage that says handicap needs to go here or there, whatever. But it's just a wonderful place to learn, and also it makes it easy for everyone to use. If you can look behind me, you can see that there's a green arrow that I'm standing on, but a straight path. So we've done that. So the first thing that we teach is how to walk with your avatar. And so we have a nice straight path. And actually, if you do if you highlight transparency, you'll see that there are barriers, clear barriers that are up so that people can't get off the path. And if you can imagine somebody that can only use one finger to walk around or to do anything that they need to get around in Second Life. I'm sorry. Alice? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. I'm hearing a little bit of feedback too.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is there a question?
No, it just kind of
okay.
went a little goofy.
Oh, okay.
Just some Skype goofiness.
Okay, no problem. I thought somebody might have had a question. Anyway, we made it straight so it's easy for everyone to learn right away how to walk their avatar straight. And then as you get further down the path, you can see that there are turns, and it makes it a little more complicated. But you learn how to walk, and then you get to practice. And that's the andragogy example for right here. Let's walk down the path a little bit more, and we can see some other things that we have here.
For those who are brand new, you can use the sideways arrow keys to turn your avatar to face in the direction you want to go, and then use the up arrow key to move forward.
Do you remember the quick key to reveal transparency?
No, but I can look it up.
Control-Alt-T.
That's the barrier she was talking about.
Right, so they're invisible, but they are there to keep people on the path. A lot of times, some of our community, people can only use one finger, and it's hard to control an avatar. And if they got off the path this early in the training, then they would be very frustrated. So we try to make it as simple as possible, but so it doesn't really look like it's made, it doesn't look like a cage or something. So anyway, there is one sign on the island that speaks to disability, and it's one right here behind me that says assist. And that gets in touch with, you can go to that website and get in touch with someone in real life that can come and help you with assistive technology to make using Second Life a little easier. But there's absolutely nothing else on the island that you'll see that speaks to disability. But there are wide open pathways. We have no stairs. Everything is ramped. But unless you know to look for that, you're not really going to see, oh, there's no stairs on this island, no steps. So, and part of that is a respect for people with wheelchairs. So even though if you use a wheelchair in Second Life, you can get around on the stair, it is a sign of respect for those folks. So if we can come down a little bit further, we can play with these butterflies. And this is an example of where we've used andragogy to teach and give rewards, immediate rewards. So this is where you learn how to use your camera controls. And you look around and click on a butterfly.
how to dim the background music in the new viewer.
I can tell you that.
Okay.
On the very top right, there is a icon of a speaker. Do you see that? Very top right.
Used to be on the bottom.
I know, it's on the top right now. And you just click it and it turns on a red slash mark. That help?
Yes, thank you.
All right, there you go.
Great. So when you click on a butterfly, there are three forms of, what am I trying to say? 3 rewards. So one is a little ding that means you got it. You get a little text chat in your thing that says, congratulations, you've learned how to use your camera controls. And then it also lights up. Sorry, I've got some allergy stuff going on here. But anyway, this is a way to reward people immediately for learning how to use, you teach and give them practice, and then they get a reward. And if someone has a little more experience in Second Life, they can use, on the other side of the pathway are dragonflies, and they move back and forth. So they're a little more of a challenge if someone wanted that. Any questions so far?
I was going to mention, well, I'm biased. I think that you guys have built like the best orientation area in Second Life. I just have to say that, because this is the one we bring everyone to. And one of the things, could you talk about camera controls? Because that's one of the things that we try to teach early on, that you guys do that, and no other orientation area I've seen does. They wait till the end. And
Right.
It's one of the things you have to use to actually click on these butterflies. When I'm zooming in and out, knowing how to do that, instead of just standing here with your avatar.
I'm sorry, you want me to teach how to do that?
Well, really, I just wanted to mention it, that it is a skill that it can mean the difference between actually enjoying your experience in Second Life and not enjoying it, because you won't see as much if you don't know how to use your camera controls. But
It's also the second skill that Emmy put into her curriculum. We can call this a curriculum. It's a path of learning. And the reason she put it second is because it is so important.
yeah.
And the other thing that Emmy did that she doesn't even know how talented she is sometimes. One of the things she did when she was designing the course was she went and looked at all the other existing orientation courses in Second Life, including the ones put up by Linden Lab. And she found that many of them, the instructions on how to use your camera, you couldn't see from the default position. You had to already know how to use the camera to find the instructions. So if you notice these signs, she's made them in a special way. You want to talk about that, Emmy?
Sure. We did a lot of testing, and Alice gives me a lot of credit for this, but it really wasn't me. It was a whole community of people that helped put all of this together. But if you look at the signage, they're slanted back a little bit. And what we did was we took the default camera view and made sure that the avatars that were coming in at the time would be able to, walk up to the sign and be able to read it easily. We did that with some testing with people from our community. We also tested the background of the sign. We started out with white background and black text, and we would do A and B testing for our community, and we would set up signs, and then they would come by and say, this one is easier for me to read, or that one is. And doing that over and over several times, we found this combination of the back slant and then a little bit of texture in the background with that blue color was really the easiest for people with low vision to read. So again, universal design, which works for almost everyone, but still it's another one of those things that you really wouldn't know unless you happen to get the tour from us, that's why everything is so easy here. Also on the path is a flying instruction. And you can't imagine how many times I would go to these other orientations and see people that they got the instruction on how to fly. They would fly off and lose their place on the instruction path. So when we set up the flying exercise here, we put it in an aviary so that folks would have a pretty place to fly around, but they wouldn't be able to fly off. And we didn't want to put them in like a cage or something. But we thought this would be a really great way to utilize the atmosphere of the island and still make it a wonderful place to learn. And you also get when you land over there, you get 2 more rewards there as well. Then we teach, and I know you mentioned that we put the camera control second, and that really was, trying to figure out which skills to teach first of all, and then what order to teach them was something that we went back and forth a lot on. So did try to put them in the order that we felt like they're important. Obviously you have to learn how to walk first, but
I think you made a good
anyway,
choice with the camera controls.
Yeah, I think so. And the designers that were helping us came up with this idea of using the butterflies to be able to get the reward. So I thought that was just so wonderful. And again, we try to integrate it into, the look and feel of the island. And if you go on a little bit further, you'll see that there are ways that you can learn to sit. But there are so many ways to sit in Second Life. A lot of places I would go to would have a single chair. We can walk down a little bit further here. They would have one single chair, and it would say, right click on the chair and sit. But then the instructions on how to get up from the chair would be on the sign behind you. So we actually put a lot of different ways to sit here, and actually, learning to dance is also, you right click and sit, and so we just wanted to make sure that people knew that they were what they might be more likely to find when they went out into Second Life rather than just a single chair. Anybody have questions so far? We're not going to go through the whole orientation, but you're all welcome to come back at any time. So, and we do have folks that just come back through here and just sit and hang out here. So it's really rewarding that is so well used. If there are no questions, I think we could go on to the auditorium, because that really is one of our best illustrations of using universal design. Let's see.
And what we're going to do is I'll put the auditorium slurl into the local chat, so those of you who do the slurl that way can go over there. And again, remember, once you've landed, please take your step forward or backwards or sideways so that other people don't land on you. And then if there are other people who are having difficulty getting there, I see Kirkwood is going to try some dancing first. Go for it, Kirkwood.
It's not letting me touch. Can't do it.
I can't move.
What is it not letting you touch?
The club dance, yeah. Or maybe I
I
sit.
can't move my avatar, I'm not sure why. What
There you go.
There you go. You got it.
Really?
Kit,
Wow,
I can't
Kit,
move
you
my,
gotta see this.
I'm not quite sure.
Kit, excuse me, I can't move my avatar, how come I can't move it?
Not sure, that's strange.
Are you having that problem too?
Let me,
Me too, I can
let me see if I can get you guys where I'm at then. Maybe there's,
Okay,
people up ahead.
XSKI. XSKI
Oh,
and
I had to hit
Kirkwood
escape.
need to go over.
You got it?
I hit escape
And
and now I can.
Jolster and overdue.
Try hitting escape?
Yeah,
That- did that work?
I can move.
I wonder if you're stacking on top of each other.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's too.
Anybody need a teleport? Are we good?
Jolster and XSKI are still here. And we got XSKI. And Jolster is still here. And I think that's the last of us.
Okay.
She sent me something in that.
Well, welcome to the Virtual Ability Auditorium, which we feel is the most accessible auditorium in all of SL. I think we can safely say that. If you'll walk down one of the aisles here, I can show you some of the features that we used. You can have a seat or wander around, whatever. You can see that the ramps are slanted. Then they're all ramps. There's no stairs here. You can easily go from one ramp to the, one level to another in a wheelchair. And if you sit down, you can see Alice there showing how someone in a wheelchair can get by on the level without running over virtual toes, so to speak. And then on the ends of the aisles there is space for a wheelchair to sit on the ends, so that if you come with a friend that's in a wheelchair, you can sit, anywhere you want. And the folks in the wheelchairs are not relegated to being in the back row, which happens a lot in real life. Also, we wanted to make it easier so people can tell when they're changing from one level to another. So if you'll notice that the back level is a darker green and the hue goes lighter as you travel down. Another thing that's not seen is there is a viewer that allows blind people to use Second Life. And so we have on each cushion is has a different number on it. So when we have an event here, we'll have a greeter, and if somebody comes in using that viewer, that special viewer, then our greeter can say that seat number 12 is available, and that person with a viewer can go sit in that cushion. Let's see.
There's actually a lot of human accessibility that is built into this auditorium and the way we do our activities here. And you may want to think about this when you're doing classes. I put a poster up behind Emmy on the front screen, And that is actually a photograph of a session that was conducted by a doctor from the Mayo Clinic for our community here. And you can see a lot of the human factors involved in a presentation. The woman closest to you in the picture is the greeter that Emmy was talking about. And this person is not only there to help blind people find unoccupied seats, she's also there to help people get their media set up if there's media being shown. She helps people with their behavior. If this is a person who has behavior issues, she can coach them with behavior. She helps new avatars because many times we get people who come in specifically for a presentation and they are not familiar with how to function in Second Life very well, so she helps them. Just general all-around support, that's what the greeters are for. And then down in the very front, you can see the speaker with the podium. She has a white blouse on. And facing her on the two seats that are in front of Joelster, who would be directly facing that speaker, you see two people. One of those is our voice-to-text transcriptionist. So when we have presenters who present in voice, our deaf people need to have a text transcript made so that they can participate in real time. So that's the function of the transcriptionist. The other person who is there is an audio describer, because our blind folks can use their viewer to read aloud the local chat, and of course they can hear what's being said, but they can't see the slides. So this person audio describes what's on the slide for the blind users. So there's really a lot of human interaction that's built into accessibility as well as the physical features. So that's our tour. The poster down in front by Overdue, that white poster, if you want to click on it, you can get some information about universal design and about accessibility tools that are available for use in Second Life. And we're happy to answer questions.
Yes, anybody have questions?
Yeah, this is really neat.
One question that popped up for me is how, I would think that if you're blind and using Second Life, that would be an incredible challenge. How do you do that?
Yes, but you know, living in the real world is a challenge for them as well. So a lot of times they have someone with them in, you know, at their computer, but like I said, there's also a viewer that's actually a text viewer. So it can read the objects around them. It can say, you know, that like that's a bench there. Whatever the object is named, it will read that to them. It will also tell them, you know, where they're located on the sim.
It tells them the name of the people around them, tells them all kinds of information. It's just like in real life. A blind person in real life uses other cues than the visual to orient themselves and to interact with the environment. And very similarly in Second Life, there are tools that allow a blind person to orient and interact.
Right. And I just wanted to mention that anyone, feel free to friend me, and if you have questions later, I'd be happy to answer them.
You guys know how to do that?
And I'm happy also to answer any questions at any point. And Kit has my email. Hey, good. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I am a DVR graduate. I managed to work from home for 5 years before I went on SSDI because of DVR, so I'm very familiar with the programs that are available there.
We lost a little bit of your audio.
Oh, I just said I'm a DVR graduate, so I'm familiar with their programs, at least in my state. Any other questions from your audience?
I have a question for you. What do you guys have built, sorry, I'm in love with your island. I just think it's the greatest. what do you guys see in the next 5 years? You've got a big investment in Second Life, and there's some educational places that we're not leaving, but there's some educational places that have left because of the price increases, and what do you guys see for the future of Second Life? Like if you were to look 5 years out, or just virtual worlds in general, especially as it relates to people with disabilities.
Well, we already know that people with disabilities in the general sense are overrepresented in the population in casual online games. And that's because of the many benefits that we accrue as a person with a disability. Virtual world makes it much easier for me to get an education than if I have to go to a bricks and mortar campus. Virtual world provides excellent distraction for pain relief. Virtual world provides a social environment that I can access at any point, 24/7. So there are lots and lots of benefits, and that's why in Second Life, probably 1 person in every 5 that you meet will have some form of disability, and that's a higher percentage than in the real world. Now, we also know that, especially in the community college population, the percentage of students with disabilities is increasing. And so I think that this is going to be the coming thing. I think this is an area of growth. We're certainly planning on that. Kirkwood asks, what are some of the mistakes designers make in Second Life in relation to universal design? Emmy, that's your field.
I think that they, they probably look at it from their own point of view and not particularly from the most residents' point of view. So in particular for this island, we had to go back and think as a very new user, and what would that be like?
I think college professors also make a different mistake, that they try to totally replicate their real-life college. And you notice that this is not like a real-life auditorium. This is much more open than a real-life auditorium. There are a lot of psychological benefits to that, not just for people with disabilities, but for everyone. So you don't have to make things exactly like they are in real life. Use the virtual world and use the benefits that you can get from being in a virtual world. That's not just about universal design, that's about design, period.
That's true. If you read the article that Alice sent, that is, there are 3 ways that we describe that people use or create in Second Life. And one is where people will create with no regard to, accessibility or anything like that. And a lot of times they're recreating a real life, for example, the Sistine Chapel is here. And so you wouldn't want to, make it different. You would want to recreate it exactly, which they have. Or they do it just as an artistic expression. And then there are some people that come into Second Life that will do it and show example, there are houses here that have that can show before and after a house has been modified for a person with a disability. So that kind of thing would be also very useful, because you can push a button and have it, have a counter go down or back up to original position, so you can see what it would be like if you had your home counter altered at, in your kitchen. But what we stress is making things accessible. So, for example, we wouldn't put a handrail here because avatars don't use handrails. But you would have to have that in real life for accessibility. But we say you don't have to go strictly by what the law is for real life. You need to adjust for what is in the virtual world. And, even though Alice says it does make things easier in Second Life, one of the things that we do stress is that there are other, coming into a virtual world does not level the playing field for everyone. It also creates issues for some people. For example, if someone has tremors in their hand, that might not be such a bad thing in their real life, but in Second Life, trying to hold down a key or hold down 2 keys at one time or for an extended period could make things very difficult for them in Second Life. So we do a whole series, we have a whole seminar that we teach about, the obstacles that are still in a virtual world.
I thought maybe you guys might have some questions about building something for people with disabilities. Anything specific? We have a couple members who are new who are thinking about building something.
I appreciate this, then. We're in addition to working as a social science instructor, Joel and I work with Access to Independence, a local center for independent living, and we've had a lot of interest expressed by our consumers wanting this kind of opportunity or this forum in virtual, whatever the terminology, virtual Second Life. And so our ultimate goal is to create a center like you have, I think the Heron Institute is
Heron Sanctuary.
Heron Sanctuary. And so we're looking to try to find or put something small for our consumers to come and interact. So do you have any recommendations, suggestions?
You're talking about like a peer support group?
Exactly, yes.
That in a resource
Yes.
center form?
Yeah.
There are over 100 peer support groups that we've been able to identify in Second Life, just in English. There are others in other languages, of course. Some of them have property. Not all of them do. It's not a requirement to have property. There are 2 meeting areas on this island that are totally accessible that you can reserve. We have a scheduler that you can talk to, and if you want to meet every second Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central Time, you can reserve that facility and use that. But you can also have your own home place. The other option, and I don't know if Kit is aware of this, is the Nonprofit Commons, which is a community of nonprofits in Second Life, a large community of I think about 70 different nonprofits. And I'm assuming you're still a nonprofit.
Yes,
and
correct.
Probably qualify, and you can receive a free little office area there that you can use to meet with people. So there are a number of options. You don't necessarily need to buy land, that's what I'm trying to say.
And where's that located at?
You mean the
It's-
nonprofit commons?
Yeah, or do we just search for that?
I think we have a sign for that.
If you don't, I can give Kit a landmark too.
Thanks.
But that's a possibility, and if you are interested in that, I can introduce you to the leaders.
Any other questions? Anything at all, even if it's just about Second Life in general, for those of you who are visiting us and saying, what is this?
One of our other issues is helping out persons with disabilities as we're getting into Second Life. One of the things I'm finding is the computers require good graphics, a good graphics card.
Yes,
And
yes.
with our consumers, that is just not one of the things they have. They have old computers. Have you found this, and how have you helped overcome this?
A couple of different ways. Actually, the viewer that our blind folks use is a text-only viewer, and so it runs quite well on mobile devices. Doesn't even have to be on a computer. So that is a possibility. Of course, that takes away the visual nature of the land. There are settings that you can use on your computer to use lower power graphics. That can sometimes help once you've gotten into Second Life. And another possibility is to look at donated computers or donated graphics cards.
Definitely help.
Thank you.
It is a graphically intensive environment. You have
yes.
It is. You can't get around that.
It pushes the envelope for sure.
Yeah.
It does.
Is there like
We've
a,
had people access Second Life through facility computers as well, you know, like library computers or a clinic's computers.
is there like a menu or a way that people could figure out where they want to go in Second Life?
Yes.
You have to go to the Kirkwood and then come here, or how do you decide where you want to be?
It depends on what you want to do. That's how you decide where you want to be. We recommend that people come into Second Life through our website because it's a much safer environment for people coming in. The regular secondlife.com entrance into Second Life, everybody and their cousin is coming in through there. And frankly, some of the people are not very nice people. And so it isn't exactly the safest entrance into Second Life. Our community is. From our community, you can go anywhere you want in Second Life. There's a search feature that Kit can explain. There is a destination guide that lists lots of places that might be of interest for people with all different kinds of interests. You can go hear live music in Second Life. You can do role-playing in Second Life. There's a Star Trek community, there's furry communities, there's all kinds of communities. There are educational opportunities, not just formal ones like your community, but there are also informal opportunities to be educated. There are places you can go dance, there are places you can go play soccer. I mean, it's just pretty much anything you can imagine. You can go and do in Second Life.
And then you communicate like through Skype then, and talking, or?
Actually, we're doing that for this presentation because it makes it easier. Usually when you're talking to someone, a virtual 20 yards away, you can talk and then it's like the signal starts to fade, just like in real life. You have to yell at them, and the Skype just makes it easy for wherever we're at, whatever island we're on, we're able to communicate. And I know some people do use Skype, but there's other ways in Second Life that you can chat with people. But yeah, there's text chat and there's a voice chat within Second Life itself.
Oh, okay.
And for both the text and the voice chat that are built into Second Life, both of those can be communal, where everybody around you can hear or see that, or they can be private, like an instant message.
Okay.
You can have them going at the same time too, if you're really good at multitasking.
One thing that Alice didn't mention about, if the person is disabled and they come through our website, there is a list that we have on our website that tells what skills that will be needed once they enter Second Life. Like, they need to be able to hold down 2 keys at the same time. And if someone has a problem with doing some of those skills, we have ways to work around that. Like, there's a way to do sticky keys. So you can, and then it stays down and you can hit another key. So that is the one benefit of coming through the Virtuability website, is they'll know ahead of time if their disability is going to affect, their using Second Life.
Very interesting.
And the other thing that we provide is that if someone notifies us ahead of time that they intend to come into Second Life, which has helped most with the blind users, but it helps with other users as well, people with chronic fatigue or people with learning issues. We can provide a mentor who will be right there when they sign in. That mentor sometimes is in Skype with them before they sign in, helping them through the sign-in process. So we will provide whatever kind of assistance is needed for the person to be successful here.
And there's no charge for this.
I know we're about at the end of your time, but both Emmy and I are very welcome. We welcome your questions. If you want to send us instant message questions or email questions through Kit, that's good.
We just had a question about the cost. There doesn't have to be a cost. You can get involved with things like selling things online and different things that can involve some cost, but getting an avatar and exploring Second Life doesn't cost you anything. If you get into owning land, different things like that, of course, there's a charge for that.
Sure. And that would be like a website or something of the same kind of thing.
Yeah, or if you don't like the hair and you want to do like I did, go buy hair, it'll cost you $0.25.
I see.
You paid $0.25? Wow, that's expensive hair.
Expensive hair, I know. Well, it had to be as messy as my hair, so.
At the very end of our training course, we have changing rooms, which people love to stand around in and just try on different free clothes and free hair. Everything is free on our island.
You guys have thought of so many different things that people have brought up over the years that we've been doing the Second Life group, but that's why I love your orientation area so much. The camera controls, the changing rooms, the free stuff at the end, and you wait to have them change their avatar into the end. See, we get caught up at that in the very beginning, and you guys wait to the very end, you know all the skills, and then you turn them loose with that. You guys have done an excellent job, I just have to say that. 3 times.
Thank you very much.
That was very deliberate, saving that for the end, so, yeah, because so many people, you know, want to change their look, and, you know, it definitely is an important part, especially for people in our community, to customize their avatar, you know, and we support whatever, you know, if they want to use a wheelchair, we support that. If they don't, you know, it's totally up to them, so.
Yes, we provide free wheelchairs like I am using, if you want one.
Do you have a lot of people who are, I mean, use my example, and I wanted my avatar to look like me. Is that the reason that a lot of
That's exactly it,
people?
yes. Yes, we've talked to so many people that said, you know, I was going to quit Second Life because walking around does not seem right to me. I feel very strange, it's very uncomfortable. And they find out that we have wheelchairs, and they say, oh, well, you know, that made all the difference for them.
Kirkwood's got one.
Yeah, excellent. So, but yeah, just like you want to have your brown hair, you know, they identify with their wheelchair or their amputation, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, we try to help out whenever we can.
You also don't have to be a human avatar. And many of our autistic members choose to not be human because they don't identify with the meat space. So, for instance, I have one friend who's autistic, whose avatar is a cube of lime jello with embedded fruit chunks. You don't have to be human. Not many go that far, but
some of them do choose to be furries, though.
right.
They find some comfort in a furry avatar. So.
Well, this
So
is
there are lots of options. That's what's so cool about Second Life. I have the option in Second Life to be able to stand and walk and dance, or to sit in my wheelchair. I don't have that option in real life.
Well, I think we actually have come to the end of our session. I want to thank you guys, and Emmy, thank you for joining us also. I admire your work, and I think you've done a great job, and you're very modest because you've taken the time to see what's out there and what's not working, and you and your team have done a great job of putting something together that we use every time we get someone into Second Life. So.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank
Enjoyed
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See you again.